Hi and welcome to BeatleDave's Beatles channel. Today's video I will be showing some associated items relating to the Beatles 1960s animated cartoon series. So please, come and join me. So welcome one and all to BeatleDave's Beatles channel today. Hope I found all you fantastic Beatles people doing really well out there. And thank you so much for joining me again today on the channel. Well, the subject for today's video is some modern associated items based on the Beatles animated cartoon series from the 1960s, which was an instant success when it was first broadcast and ran for 3 seasons with a total of 39 episodes. So that will be coming up very shortly. But right now, though, it's time for something completely different. It's Ask BeatleDave, yeah! Yes, welcome to Ask BeatleDave, where I'll be answering your questions that you have about anything Beatles related. Maybe about something I've shown or haven't shown, maybe about something from the guys' solo careers, just about anything that you want to ask me, and I'll endeavour to answer it right here for you guys. So today's question is from Beatle Brad. Hiya Brad, hope you're well my friend. Don't forget to check Brad's channel out, it's absolutely fantastic. And he asks, BeatleDave, when collecting vinyl outside of the UK and the USA, what other country do you get your vinyl from? Well, generally I think the country from where I've got the most other vinyl from definitely has to be France. And although I don't have much in the way of other foreign releases, I do have quite a lot of coloured vinyls from France and other albums, and they're actually all really awesome sounding. Absolutely fantastic. So Brad, I really hope that answers that question for you. And guys, if you'd like to contribute to Ask BeatleDave, just send me a question in the comments and I'll endeavour to include it in a future episode. It's that simple. So come on guys, please me by asking me a question and getting involved. Okay then, so right now, moving on, it's time for I Call Your Name. So yes, it's on to them old shout-outs, and it's a great big BeatleDave hi to Kariko Mazarin, Chris Snyder, Dennis Wood, Sailor Sam, hiya Sailor Sam, Andrew Bowman, Theo9952, Joan Olivella, hiya Joan, and Mark Foster. That's a great big hi to you guys from yours truly, BeatleDave. So on to the main event then today, and I present to you some associated items from the Beatles 1960s cartoon series. So please, come and join me. The Beatles was a popular Saturday morning animated TV series which was originally broadcast from 1965 to 1967 on the ABC network in the USA, with repeats airing until 1969. The series consisted of short animated stories with the name of a Beatles song, with the story loosely based on its lyric and the song being played at some time during the episode. Additionally, there's a sing-along sequence with simpler imagery complementing the full lyrics of particular songs. The songs were taken from all the Beatles albums up to Revolver, as well as using some non-album singles up to and including Strawberry Fields Forever and Penny Lane. The series depicted the band in their early mop-top and suit look, which was based on their image as in the 1964 film A Hard Day's Night, even though the band had moved beyond it during the series run. Most of the episodes of the series were produced by our Transa Park Studios in Sydney, Australia, and also George Dunning's company TVC Animation in London, with a handful of episodes made in Hollywood, also supervised by veteran cartoon writer John W. Dunn. US actor Paul Frees did the voices of John and George, while Lance Percival did the voices of Paul and Ringo. Frees had been the voice of Boris Badenov in the Rocky and Bullwinkle series. Historically, the series is actually a milestone, as it's the first weekly television series to feature animated versions of real living people. The original series was rebroadcast in syndication by MTV in 1986 and 1987. It was also broadcast on the Disney Channel beginning in 1989 on Fridays at 5 p.m. In the early 1990s, Apple Corps Limited gained the copyright control to the complete series, and although popular demand for the cartoon's release continued with fans, Apple have only released some related memorabilia since 2004, being based on the Beatles animated characters from the series. So let's take a look. So here is then a selection of items which are based on the Beatles animated series of the 1960s. So I'm going to start off with these figures which came out in 2004. Obviously going to start off with John first. And these are all made by McFarlane Toys or Spawn, or both those companies conjoined. And of course there you've got John there with a silhouette of his guitar. And the actual figure of John there with his little Rickenbacker guitar and a piece of stage with the Beatles logo at the bottom there. And then on the side we've got John as well. And you've got McFarlane Toys there at the bottom. And then on the back you've got Spawn, spawn.com, top right. And of course then you've got the four guys and all the pieces that you get with this particular set, stage, etc. and Ringo's drums and how to set them up. And these are getting on quite rare now, these particular figures. I think I don't see that many of them about really, but generally they're sort of about £40 to £50 each, I think generally, but yeah, they're getting really rare. So moving on to Paul then. As you can see, we've got Paul there and a silhouette of his bass on the left. And Paul itself with another piece of stage and his little left-handed Hofner guitar there. They've got their sort of blue suits on. You've got the Beatles logo at the bottom there as well. You're going to flip that over there then. You've got Paul there with a silhouette of his bass again. And McFarlane Toys at the bottom. Once again, it's exactly the same on the back. And it shows you the four guys with the stage and Ringo's drums, etc. and how to set them. So now we're moving on to George. And once again you've got that George on the left with his silhouette of his guitar with the actual figure itself, and George has got his Gretsch there. And you've got a piece of stage in the back behind George there as well, and of course you've got the Beatles drum logo at the bottom there with George and his silhouette of his guitar on the side with the McFarlane Toys logos, etc. there at the bottom. Then on the back, once again you've got the same picture as on the other ones. Got some text at the top which reads, McFarlane Toys' newest line of Beatles action figures is based on the classic Beatles cartoon series produced by King Features. The cartoon premiered in the USA in 1965 and ran for 2 immensely popular seasons. Actually, I thought it was 3. This line of figures is based on the Beatles' animated appearance in that series. And then you've got the figures, all the figures there, Paul, George, Ringo and John on the stage. So the final figure in this series then, of course, it's Ringo Starr. And then we've got Ringo on the left there with a little silhouette of his drum and a cymbal. But with Ringo on this particular set, it's quite a wide set, this one, because you've got a piece of stage and you've got Ringo's drums. And he's all ready to go there, ready to start drumming. And of course you've got the Beatles logo there on the actual drums itself and at the bottom of the packaging. And then we've got at the side, a lot wider this one, got Ringo there with a silhouette of his bass drum and cymbal, and of course McFarlane Toys at the bottom. And once again, same details on the reverse of the packet, but these are a really great set to have, really nice animated set of the Beatles. So in 2004, after the animated figures had came out, they actually put the 4 figures together with an alligator and the complete stage together in one deluxe box set, which is this one. So of course there you've got the Beatles at the top there with the 4 figures or the 4 faces, and McFarlane Toys there on the right hand side. And we're going to turn that over so you can see actually inside the actual box itself. So as you can see there, you've got the deluxe box set on the right, And at the bottom we've got the John and George there with the logo of the Beatles, with the crocodile, and then you've got Paul and Ringo. And inside the actual box we've got the classic stage lineup of Paul on the left, then George, Ringo at the back, and John on the right. And of course this little alligator or crocodile which actually features in one of the stories. And then on the side you've got the Beatles, and then you've got Paul and George with the crocodile. And then on the back, collectively, there's the full set. And then on the other side, once again you've got the Beatles, John, and then Ringo. So moving on then to another set of animated figures which I've got here then. Don't have any information about these particular ones, as when I bought them they just came in just a polystyrene box. But they are really well made and they're really well detailed. And there's John, as you can say they're really nice looking figures. They've got quite a nice weight to them. Sort of made in some sort of plastic resin or something, but they're really nice. Got this nice little heavy base on them as well. So let's put John back there and take a look at Paul. And there's Paul, got a bit of a funny expression there going on. He's got his Beatle boots on. He's got his hands behind his back there. And then we've got George. Oop, not Ringo there. Then you've got George with a great big grin, folded his arms. Really good detail. And these were actually brought from the Hard Day's Night shop, so they must be some sort of official item. There's nothing to say that they're not official. And of course there's Ringo. Great big cheesy grin. Really nice details these. Really good little figures. So the final few items I've got to show then related to the Beatles cartoon series are these printed sort of pictures or lithographs, for want of a better word. But they are really nice, so about 18 inches square, and they look really fabulous. You've got the Beatles at the top there with the 4 cartoon Beatles and Ringo, John, Paul and George. Made by Rockin' Tunes, about 2005 these were made. Of course there's a little bit of writing there. You've got the Beatles product there, Apple Corps Limited, and that Rockin' Tunes logo again. Then on the back you got the certificate of authenticity there, Moonlight boat, this particular one's called, by Rockin' Tunes Animated Studios or Animation Studios LLC, Las Vegas, Nevada. Wow. And of course you've got that Beatles cartoon logo there on the left hand side. Really nice this one. So on to the second one then, and once again exactly the same size, 18 inches square. You've got the Beatles at the top there with the Beatles on the actual frame itself or the picture itself, and then you've got George top left with Paul top right, John on the bottom left and Ringo bottom right there. Rockin' Tunes again with the copyright details at the bottom left. And let's flip that over. And once again, certificate of authenticity, with this one being called Portraits. And of course we've got the information of the 500 limited edition series there, and a little bit of information about the cartoons as well. Rockin' Tunes, their Animation Studios LLC, Las Vegas, Nevada. And the Beatles and all the Apple Corps Limited details there as well. So that's the second one I've got. So on to the final picture then, which is this one. And then you've got the Beatles on the frame there at the top, with the Beatles actually on the picture. And quite a jolly looking picture this one, with the fake noses and the fake moustaches and beards and things and the hats. You've got Rockin' Tunes there, logo on the picture, as well as the bottom of the frame. Let's flip that over with the certificate of authenticity there. Fab Faces, this one's called. I don't know how many more was actually in this particular series, if there was just 3 or if there was any more. Be interesting to find out. So you've got some text and information there about the actual cartoons itself, as well as this limited edition of 500.
And you've got Rockin' Tunes Animation Studios LLC, Las Vegas, Nevada. And the Beatles logo bottom left, and of course the Rockin' Tunes details there, and the trademark of the Beatles and the Apple Quartz Limited. It's a really nice looking set, these. Really great to have.
So thank you all for tuning in today, guys, and joining me. Really hope you've enjoyed seeing those fantastic Beatles animated series items that I've got. And don't forget, as always, I really appreciate any communication or comments I get from any of you guys, and I'll always come back to you just as soon as I can. So next week then, we are back with episode 8 of my Apple Records album series, and it's the Badfinger album, Magic Christian Music from 1970. So please make sure you're here next week, same Beatles time, same Beatles channel. So anyway, as always guys, if you enjoy what I'm doing, why not give us a like, subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any future videos. This is BeatleDave signing off. BeatleDave's Beatles channel.